Hello YouTube, Kaitlyn here, and we are going to talk about some serious stuff today. So I love reading all the comments that you guys leave in my videos, and I especially love it when you leave me a comment that is a question and a topic to make a video on. It makes me feel so special that you look to me for advice. And you guys have really good ideas, so it sort of makes my job easier. But recently someone sent me a topic that they wanted me to make a video on, and I was like, yes, I need to make this video, but I don't know how. Sonia M asks, can you make a video on how to cope with self-harm? So on the one hand, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about talking about this stuff with you guys. But on the other hand, the reason that I've never thought to talk to you guys about it is because I've never had to cope with self-harm myself. But I wanted to make this video anyway because just because I might not have dealt with it doesn't mean that maybe something I say will be able to help you if you are dealing with self-harm. I'll start by saying that while I never dealt with self-harm personally, I had a friend who did. I've talked before about my high school boyfriend who dealt with a lot of emotional issues and caused a lot of emotional abuse for me, but I haven't talked about the other thing that he did. As far as I know, he didn't do what I would consider traditional cutting, but then what the heck is traditional cutting anyway? How can there be traditional self-harm? Like that, it just not, no. One time he wouldn't pull up his sleeve on his shirt, and I wanted to know why, and when he finally did, I realized that he had taken a letter opener and carved a cross into his skin to remind him of all the sins that he committed and how horrible of a person that he was. Now I was 17 at the time, and this really freaked me out because the idea of taking anything and carving into your skin something just blew my mind. It was scary, and I couldn't imagine doing that to myself, and I didn't understand why he was doing it. But looking back now, I can definitely see that it's a form of self-harm because he was causing pain to himself in order to alleviate this feeling, to like punish himself for things, and that way he could feel better in a way. First of all, for anyone watching this who does any form of self-harm, even if you don't think that it is self-harm, if you are physically hurting yourself in order to make your mental state, emotional state feel better in a way, that is self-harm, and it's not good. You don't want to do that. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you crazy. It just means that you're coping with feelings that you have inside in a way that's not healthy. It's basically the same thing as people who drown their sorrows in alcohol or have to be high in order to function in life. No one wants you to have to live that way. I do understand though, feeling so many awful, horrible, negative emotions, maybe hating yourself or just wanting to die or wanting to somehow get out of your body, or maybe you don't feel anything and that's why you're hurting yourself because you at least want to feel some sort of physical pain. I get that. I felt a lot of those things. I was fascinated with suicide while I was in high school and college, and I can recognize now that that's not healthy, but at the time that's all I could think about. Okay, but so how do you cope with it? Step one, tell someone. Confide in someone you trust, whether it be a parent, a teacher, a best friend, a doctor, a mentor, anyone. It could be anyone. I mean, not someone random on the street or anything like that, but someone that you trust. Talk to them about what you're feeling and show them what you have been doing, how you're harming yourself. I know it's really scary and you're afraid that they might end up hating you, but I can promise you that if you trust them enough to go talk to them, it's because they're going to help you. You know deep down that they care about you enough to want to help you. Step two is seek some kind of professional help. This is why telling someone you trust is a really good idea because they'll help you figure out where to go next. Maybe you'll go see a counselor or a therapist, or maybe it's a pastor or some kind of religious leader. Maybe it's just calling one of those help hotlines and they'll be able to connect you to someone. And step three, find a positive way to deal with those emotions without hurting yourself. I saw this image recently and I really fell in love with the idea of instead of cutting yourself or harming yourself, then you would draw something pretty there instead, using your body as a canvas. Obviously this isn't going to work for everyone, but I think taking the spirit of it into coping with your self-harm is a really good idea. And that means when you have the compulsion to hurt yourself, then to take that feeling and put it towards something else. A positive thing, of course. And because art is just a therapeutic activity in the first place, that's a really good idea. Maybe you don't even have to draw on your body, maybe you're just drawing in a notebook. But I would say get those washable markers out and go to town. So what do you think? What's a helpful, healthy way to cope with self-harm? I don't have all the answers. I try to help as much as I can, but it's a community. Let's talk about it. Let's get some ideas out there. I just know that if you are dealing with self-harm, that you are never alone and that there is always someone who is going to be there to help you. You may not feel like that or see that person right now, but trust me, they are out there and they want to help you. I just want to give you all big hugs. Support in the imagination. So guys, remember to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. If this video made you think, maybe it didn't really make you smile, but you know, it's the thought that counts. See you guys next Thursday. Thank you.